And we have just started recording. So, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. Today is October 5th, 2020. This is Take Command to Command, the 80/20 edition, we shall say, for lack of a better term. This is to give some clarification or answer any questions if anyone that's on the line may have questions with respect to what is it that I need to qualify for the 80/20 program that is applicable only to agents within the Advantage Group, being Oviedo, Waterford Lakes, and Lake Nona. Again, if you are not a member, an agent in these particular market centers, this program that we will be referring to does not apply to you. So I thought when Zyday presented it to everybody with her excited little squeals, it was perfect because of the fact that it does give the advantage, or gives every one of our agents the ability to, if you want to say, hold on to more of their commission check for a little bit longer. It gives them, like they're getting a better split. The conditions that we're speaking of is where normally Keller Williams will just say the 70/30 split. For agents that have been with the Advantage Group for over 1 year and meet certain criteria, their split went to 80/20. Now the conditions that were laid out were basically an adoption of command. And is as such, 100 contacts found within command, the creation or the use of opportunities, the use of designs, the creation of a smart plan, and a campaign. So essentially all the building blocks that our agents need to be successful agents. This is our owner doing her best to give you the incentive monetarily to do the things you should be doing in any way. I'll get my screen shared up here. There we go. And I'm going to go right on to, I'm going to log in into my demo account. So let me log in there. And the reason I want to log into the demo account is to kind of give you an idea of, for the most part, there are no contacts in here. There are a few tests that we've made. However, we're going to create a contact. And one thing I'd like to show you is as we add bits and pieces of information to the contact, how the information that we use increases the percentage of the health of that contact. So let's just say for now, we're going to make a contact. If you make them obvious like this, no one ever has a problem. So we're going to say Daffy Duck. Okay. Refresh my page. So if I were to go and literally open Daffy Duck at this time, you can see the contact's health score is a measly 20%. Now it's not really a contact if I don't at least either have an email address or a phone number. So let's simply add one of those pieces by clicking on the pencil or edit. And let's just give them a bogus email address, a@b.com, and then save that. Now that we've simply added one piece, we've gone from 20 to 40. Let's add a bogus phone number. I don't think I've used that number before. Simply by adding the email address and the phone number, we've gone from 20 to 60%. So let's add an address, mail-in address. So we're going to click on edit the contact, add more information, additional contact information, and add a street address. So let's go with I'll go with this one here for now. Wasn't what I was going to go with, but I'll go with it. So say this is their primary address and also serves as the mailing address. I generally want to tell agents to make sure if you know that the address you're putting in here is also their mailing address, please click this. The reason for doing this is such, once we save, notice we're now at 80%. All we've done was add an email address, a phone number, and the address. However, once we have the mailing address, you can see that a neighborhood is added according to the address provided by the agent for this contact. If I needed to or wanted to, I could simply add this particular contact to a smart plan. So if you are migrating your contacts from your telephone, or if you want to migrate them from Google using PieSync, or if you want to import them with the CSV file, as long as you have 100, do you have to have the phone number and the email and the address? If you want to have effective, or we'll just say for the health of your database, it would be your benefit. The more you have, the better your database, the stronger your database will be, your data bank. However, there are times that maybe the best you're going to get will be a name and a phone number and an open house. I've done plenty of open houses where they give me the phone number, the email, and the name, or just one of these two pieces along with their name. That's understandable. That's completely understandable, and it's what you should expect sometimes from an open house. People want to get in, they want to sign as minimum they can, and they'd like to, go about and see the home. So is there any question as far as simply adding a contact? Okay, because that's, like I said, 100 of these, and you've met the criteria of 100 contacts. So the next thing they ask you to do, smart plan. They want you to create a smart plan. Has anyone here created a smart plan to date? The smart plan does not need to be anything overly complex. This is something that I find a lot of agents are being or are confusing themselves on. They're making it more than it needs to be. And what I mean by that is if you simply make a smart plan that says call my contacts every 60 days. So the step one is to call them. The next step is to wait 60 days. And then it starts over again, call them, wait 60 days. That is a smart plan. That's exactly how the quarterly call plan is. Call, wait 90 days, call, wait 90 days. I mean, it's as simple as that. So you do not need to overcomplicate smart plans. Something that we discussed last week or the week before is when you do make a smart plan, recommendation is write it out like a flow chart. A piece of paper is my recommendation. So if you know the end result in mind, for example, if you're going to create a smart plan based off reaching out to contacts that you get at an open house, then you're going to know eventually what you're looking to do is to get them to become a buyer or seller, but you want to get them so that they are someone you contact every 90 days or someone that receives the monthly neighborhood nurture, things of that information, pieces of information that you can provide and they can only get from you due to your open house. So maybe you want to, after the open house, you can generate the steps however you'd like. Let me minimize this real quick. And let's do it by creating a smart plan. So we're going to call this post open house and click apply. So again, my recommendation and what I have found with smart plans, especially if you're going to have more than one or two steps, if all you're going to say is send a text message and then, as you can see the field here, how big it is. So once you set a delay, you can no longer see the steps. So if I were to scroll down, start looking at steps, this starts to disappear. So my recommendation, think out what you want to do, write it out like a flow chart beforehand. So if you're going to send a text message and then you're going to wait, and then maybe the next day you're going to call, and then you're going to wait, and then maybe you want to try to, maybe you wait a day or two, but then you want to try to call them again, and you wait, and you want to send an email, and then you want to wait and send them, an SMS message, and from there add them a smart plan the same day. So you can create the text messages. You can use static text messages. This is the difference here. It's a single message that you set up, or dynamic if you want to have like a round robin, a variety of text messages. So not everyone's getting the same message every time. That is purely up to you, but that is the biggest difference between static, where you only have the one message, and dynamic, where you can have multiple messages and it cycles through. As you can see where it says add more text messages to cycle through your repeating smart plans to avoid repeating messages to your clients. This generally happens when you have a smart plan that you cycle back through. With this one particular, I would go with static. I'm only going to send this particular message. Thank you for coming to our open house. Do you have any questions? Something to that degree, one time at this particular message. So maybe I'll just put something as simple as, thank you for coming to our open house. We hope you enjoyed previewing this home. Well, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Now I'm going to start the text message, and generally I try to start my text messages and or emails with the contact's name, so it's personalized. I always add an extra space, go back, comma, extra space. Simply because when you send the text message, I want the name and a little bit of separation between the actual message. So I'm going to say this will be my first step, is that I'm going to send a text message to them. Thank you for coming to our open house. We hope you enjoyed previewing this home. And if you have any questions on this home, please feel free to contact us at blah, blah, blah. Now, if you wanted to make the message even more precise, when you go up to where it says post open house, maybe put the street address. So let's just say the street address was 133 Main Street. So when I come down here and I say, thank you for coming to our open house, I would specify 133 Main Street. So if you want to say this smart plan is only applicable to this particular open house, but then again, the messages, the emails will all be also geared for this particular address. I'm going to set a delay for 1 day. You only want 2 actions at most any time. You don't want to overwhelm a potential buyer or seller. So day 1, we send a text message. Day 2, we're going to make a call, and we're going to call contact first name, contact last name, at contact phone. This right here with the little brackets and the F, they're called merge fields. So if I add 10 different people to this smart plan, each with their respective first name, last name, and phone, the information that is given to command when the task comes up telling me I need to call John Jones at, and it'll display John's number that was entered into command. Task description, you could just simply say call post open house. You can make the task description as simple or as complex as you want. This is what I want agents to understand. When you're first creating a smart plan, you don't need to go complex. You can simply do something like I've done here. Even if you don't want to do the contact last name, contact first name, just maybe contact first name or something to that degree. When you look in the task field, it will tell you which contact it's for. I just simply like it for the labeling aspect of it. It's a personal taste. It's something I want each of you to decide what you want to do. I now said we're going to make this call, and I said we're going to wait till the next day, and we're going to call them again. So I'll click call, contact first name, contact last name, at contact phone. Do I have to put anything in the task description? I think the task name says it all for me. However, second follow-up from open house, something like that. So I know what the reason my second call here is for. Now let's just say I want to wait a next day. I'm going to send an email. This is not my email address. Do not write it down. However, I don't know, thinking of you. I cannot spell today, save my life. Thinking of you. If you want to make it a simple email that you just want to send almost like you're texting an email to them, use the simple format, go in there, here's the merge fields, and then you can create your email however you wanted to make sure all your questions on 133 Main Street and answer. You can make the email as complex as you'd like or as simple as you like. This is your business. It needs to sound like it's coming from you. If you're someone who speaks in if you communicate orally in one fashion, make sure your emails do the same. You don't want to sound like a robot. Then I said we're going to wait another day, and then we're going to send another message, and maybe I'm going to put something to the effect of, especially since, as you see where I have day 5 and day 5, where I'm going to send them a message and add them to a smart plan. So maybe I'll give them a message adding you to monthly neighborhood nurture. I would never abbreviate. Never use real estate terms. If you want to say it's not the MLS, it's the multiple listing services. You want to make sure that you're speaking to them in a language they understand. and then you can add them to a smart plan. And at this particular point, this smart plan ends. But that could be your smart plan right there. And save it. Now, at the end of your smart plan, in the very last step, if you want this to start all over again, this is what the restart flow is. So you can make it rinse, lather, repeat. But if you wanted to send and restart the flow, this is where the dynamic messages come in very handy. Can you see where if you're going to send the same people a text message each time in a smart plan more than once, we're having a dynamic message type where there's more than one type of more than one message. You can say the same thing 4 different ways, so that it appears that you're saying it 4 different times, 4 different ways, when you're actually saying the same thing every time. It's first down, it's not second down, it's the down before second down. I mean, you can change things however you want to change it. But we just made a smart plan. That is one of the other conditions for the 80-20 plan. So we've gone through. We know how to create a contact. We also see the effect of different pieces of the contact. I mean, we could have added a birthday or a home anniversary. All those little social media link, if we had those things all add up to the 100% for your contacts database health. We came and we made a smart plan. Again, the smart plan does not need to be complex. I understand, we understand your job, number one job is lead gen. It's not trying to build smart plans and not trying to build anything from scratch necessarily. And we completely understand that. However, there's no reason why you can't create your own simple smart plan. It can be 2 or 3 steps and that's all. But they need to see that you're at least making the effort, because once you start making the effort to do this, you're going to find out how easy it is to do overall. So I'm going to take a brief pause and ask any questions on the smart plans. Are we all good? It seems pretty self-explanatory, because they are that simple. Now, if you want to use one of the canned smart plans, and what I mean by that are either the smart plans that you find in the library, and there are several in the library. These are the 10 that I call the original 10 that KWRI came out for us. And then if you scroll down, you will see there are others like the top rated and what's new. I believe they're limiting them right now to 50 of displaying 50 of them. Something that I really want to make sure you understand with respect to using a smart plan that either has been provided to you by KWRI or published by another agent such as Marty or Curtis or Fred. View the steps. Make sure you understand the steps. For example, if you see this one that we're looking at right here, this is going to take 90 days for this smart plan to go through. And if I remember, that's because it repeats 4 times. So you're going to make a phone call. And if you look, they've already scripted out what you can say on the phone call. You're going to wait 30 days. Repeat. You're going to connect with somebody on social media. And this is a kind of a touch task. When it says task, it will appear in your task reminder. This is not automated. This is something you physically have to do. It's the same as a phone call. Command will not make the phone call for you. They have them waiting 30 days. And then again, a handwritten note or text message. So if you add a contact to this particular smart plan, You should expect, whoops, sorry. You should expect, like here, and if you see this, if everyone can clearly see this, I'm hovering over the SMS. Since he has this repeating 4 times, he has a dynamic so that he has a different text message each time. And if you look, the text messages get longer as they get further along in the smart plan. It should almost make, it almost makes sense to the degree that once you become comfortable enough with someone or someone knows you well enough, you can share more information with them. So that you want your first text to be short. Afterwards, you're going to make them longer, give them more information. But before you ever add anyone to any smart plan, I beg of you, make sure, no matter what they say, just to say right here, view the steps. Please make sure you view the steps. Make sure you understand what everything is going to do. You need to know what the, what these particular, if it says phone call, okay, is this something that I have to do? Or is this something that's going to be done for me? Send SMS, MMS. If you have Twilio, you can have it so it's automated. If you do not have Twilio, then you will be receiving a task telling you you need to send a text. But make sure you're familiar with the steps. This is not I'm not trying to sell you on you need to have Twilio or you don't. But I want people to understand that, especially if you do have Twilio and you put them in these smart plans, these text messages will be sent. It shouldn't be a surprise because we see it in the help desk and things of that nature where people are complaining. It sent my buyers these messages. I don't know where it came from. And then you look and you see they have a smart plan that has text messages. So my last time saying it, please check the smart plan and all the steps and make sure you're familiar with all the steps before you add anyone to a smart plan.
Quick question, Chuck.
Yes, sir.
If there's a template that I seem to like, is there any way I could edit it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what template do you like? Just give me one, for example.
A buyer lead. I don't know.
Okay.
Is the one that you were using about the text messages, reading off the script, that works.
Well, like, are you talking about the one I was just on? I think this was this one, if I remember correctly, Digital HP, where it has the right here, or
I was just in your neighborhood, something like that.
Yeah. They have, yeah, or say the funniest thing is that these are ones that they've used themselves.
Okay.
And they have found them to be effective. So if I'm going to add, like, we'll just say, for example, I'm going to add this smart plan.
Okay.
And then it says now, in order, because see what it says, this is a bundle smart plan. So in order to do that one smart plan, I also have to have the monthly neighborhood nurture, which I need to download.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'll put it, I already have my plan. Two. Bye. And then long term.
Okay.
So I'm good. So now let's go up to my smart plans. Let me shrink this little window here so I can come right here.
Okay.
And edit. You can take anybody's smart plan. Once it's published, it's kind of like public domain. They told you what was working. You go in and make it Anthony's.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
That's the whole deal. This is a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely.
For example, I work a lot of the buyers and sellers I work with are either, if you want to say country folk, if you want to call them for lack of a better term, or motorcyclists. It's a gang I run around with, per se. Okay. So when I send them something, I'm always, for the most part, I may be referencing a term that's good for them, but it's not going to be good for the banker that is also looking to buy a home. So I want to make sure my smart plan, if I have a plan for my biker friends, my biker buddies, like for Biketoberfest, I've got something going out reminding them, hey guys, Biketoberfest is back on. I'm not sending that to everybody. It's the same smart plan that I'm sending to the banker, but I'm referencing Biketoberfest over to the bikers.
Gotcha.
So I just take something like this right here and edit it and make up my own.
Okay. And if we don't have Twilio, we ourselves have to pretty much.
You would have to punch it in yourself.
Gotcha.
It will come up as a task.
Okay. What are the benefits of having Twilio as well?
Right now, I would say this is purely. I find the fact that one thing we're with Command is Command is supposed to free us up so that we can network, lead gen, things of that nature.
Okay.
In the time it takes you to send or to write up one of those nice long texts that they had there, I've sent 30 or 40 of them. Actually, I can send hundreds of them.
I see.
And all I have to do is tell Command, you know what, when it comes to, just like the smart plan, when it comes to this day on the smart plan, send out this text. Or let's just say, for an example, that if you do your tags, when you're tagging your data bank, and just say that you farm a certain area, just for example. Okay, so let's just say, I don't know, the area around Lake Nona High School. So we'll just call it Lake Nona High just for now. Just say that's that tag. And then you want to send a text message to everyone at Lake Nona High. So I would filter, get my Lake Nona High on there. Then you select them all, and then you can send a bulk text. So if there's 5 of them, 100 of them, you can send a text message to all of them at once using Twilio. Or you can punch them in manually on your phone.
I see.
I'm lazy. If the machine can do it for me, let it do it.
Absolutely.
What's the Terminator or Sky or I'm going to be stuck on that now. But yeah, that to me, the system's supposed to work for us, not make us work harder. I like the fact that if I set up something that says, it looks like it's coming from me, then it's going to be great. I don't know the release date, if it's going to be anytime soon, so don't hold me this, but I think eventually Twilio will also give us the ability, if they try to call that number, it will forward to your number. I'm almost 100% sure that's going to be an additional charge. However, if I send a text message to you, it's not my normal number, my personal business number. It's the Twilio number, but you call me back, kind of want to ask a question as opposed to texting me. I love the fact that it will go directly to me so I can answer it directly for you. And make sure if you do get a Twilio phone number, make sure you get a local number. By default, they assign you one out of Texas. Unless you're on an expansion team and you're working in Texas, you want your number to appear local. I went and purchased a 321 number, which is still local. But when most people see a text message from out of the area code, what do? They ignore it and block it. Oh, some guy fishing. It's what you do. I don't know who this is, and I'm going to block it.
So I might be getting too personal on this, but what if my phone number is already out of city numbers? What should I do?
If it's out of city numbers?
Yeah, I mean, mine is a 305.
Okay.
So
then get a 305.
Okay.
But where are your customers?
Here.
Where's 305?
Too far.
Get a local phone number.
Okay.
Why don't you get 2? Why don't you get a 305 and like a 407 or a 321?
Gotcha.
If I remember, the numbers are cheap for the most part. But
Okay.
I mean, I'm actually going to have 3 Twilio numbers on our account eventually here very soon. And it's cost effective. It's better than having to go to the cell phone provider or whatever else and say I need another line. If I can get another line for $5 to $10 a month just by using the Twilio, I'll do it in a heartbeat. We have to think smart.
Absolutely.
So now we've know how to do the contacts. We're pretty good with that, right? We've done smart plans. I'm going to go ahead and expand it so everybody can see. So the next thing we need to do is an opportunity. However you want to create the opportunity is purely up to you. Personal preference with the Deborah Morse Home Team is that I create it from within the contact card. The reason that I prefer to create my opportunities from within the contact card have to do with the fact that when I click here, client's already assigned. They know who it's for. I'll put Daffy. And you know what? We're not telling Donald that Daffy and Daisy have a little thing on the side. By default, this is something I want to make sure everyone's clearly aware of. The opportunity name for compliance needs to have the street address. I swear I cannot spell today to save my life. Needs to have the street address. You don't need to have this if you don't want it. But it does need to have the street address, 133 Main Street. If you want to put 133 Main Street, Orlando, or whatever, I mean, that's great. If it's something generic like Main Street or First Street or something, I would probably recommend putting the city name in there. That's your choice. The minimum that compliance is asking for is a street address. It makes it easier for when trying to go through and make sure everything's in there for compliance. Easier to search by the street address, not by either the agent's name or whatever else. It needs to be the street address. What I like to do is I like to add the pipe. If you look on your keyboard above the enter key with the /, if you hit shift, there's a pipe. It's straight up and down. And then I like to put back what the default opportunity name was. Just as a personal preference, you do not have to do that. The only thing compliance is requiring is the street address. The reason I'm going to say it 4 or 5 times is so that you can't say that, but Chuck didn't say anything about the street address. The street address is the only thing compliance requires in the opportunity name. Personal preference is I leave whatever they give me by default and add the street address to the front. You don't have to do tags. I do them. And here's my reason for doing them. Of course, this is a test opportunity, so I'm not worried about that. But if you tag your opportunities, let's just say, where did this opportunity come from? Was this a sphere of influence? Was this a referral, like maybe a friend referred them, or maybe it was a professional referral? Was it, an open house lead? Anything of those. Where did you get this particular opportunity from? A year from now, when you go back and look at your opportunities and you check out the tags, you're going to see where your business came from. Does that make sense? That's what we're doing on our team, because you think about it, the best way to track what's working is see where you're getting your opportunities. Commission rate, we'll just say we're going with 3. Opportunity phase. This is something that I want everyone to understand. An opportunity doesn't necessarily mean that this person is going to list immediately or even 6 months down the road. If I have to cultivate this particular opportunity and nurture them, it's still an opportunity. Everyone has the mindset, or I'm not going to say everyone, and I apologize. Let me take that back. I sincerely apologize. Most people have the mindset when we say opportunity, it means a transaction that's in place. You have a listing agreement or you have a buyer's agreement. What about those contacts that you're actively working or you're cultivating? If you know this is someone that you're going to eventually have buy a home from you or list their home with you, this is an opportunity for you to cultivate. Put them in cultivate. Let's just say that Daffy is not looking to sell, but maybe he wants to wait till after the election or summertime of next year. He's relocating. So I know that's going to be cultivating, and I need this. This is going to be cultivated for some time. But once I've done that and I create, and I can go through and put down what type of information I need to. The more information you put in the general information, the better. The reason I'm saying this, the artificial intelligence that is driving the Keller Cloud platform is still in its infancy stage. But let's just look 5-10 years in the future. Okay? So you go on an appointment. So let's say Daffy calls me and I went on the appointment, let's say Saturday. He calls me Saturday, says, you know, suffering succotash, I need you to come by tomorrow. So I have an appointment for the 4th. I go over there and he's like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I'm going to assign this now, but maybe we're going to hold off on, you know, I'm not sure when I want to list it, but I am listing with you. Okay, so I got at least a listing agreement signed. Maybe he's going to wait till December, we'll just say. So what happens is now Keller Williams will see that usually a day after I have an appointment scheduled, I have the appointment and I get the agreement signed, whether it be listing in this case or buyers. Then once I go into contract, it gets an idea of how long between the time I schedule an appointment till I make the appointment, till I get the agreement, till I get a contract with an estimated close date. If I were to go under contract today and they say and let's just say the close date on the contract says November 5th. The estimated close date is what you're going to see on the contract. Well, no, it says it will close by. That's the estimated close date. As you know, contracts can close early or sometimes have to extend. Once you actually close, you can put the close date in. But this is what gives the data that says the average Keller Williams agent, after they have an appointment, they go into contract, and you know, this is where this information comes from. So the more we give it, the better off the better it is, the information will be. I'll just say that for now. Seller's worksheet. They're not requiring this right now. I always say go ahead and put in. So you have both commissions in there. You can select from listings up here. If you once it's active in the MLS, once it's active, you can literally put the street address here. Or once it's active in the MLS, you can select from up here. But once you have an opportunity in the Cultivate, and that's all we're doing for now, for Cultivate, that's all you need. They didn't say there had to be 100 opportunities. There needed to be at least one. But as you work through command, opportunities are going to be your best friend. I cannot begin to tell you how much they're going to be your best friend. You'll be able to track your GCI. You'll know what your income should be, what you should have coming in, what you have in the pipeline. These are information. This is information you're going to want to know to keep your business going. I do have classes, and I have several videos on the YouTube channel under the training playlist on opportunities and DocuSign, And then I think I have at least one or two that go through the full step of creating a contact, from contact to opportunity, from opportunity to DocuSign. It has to be in that order. The creation has to be in that order. But it goes through and it gives you some helpful tips in mastermind session. If you're interested, I'll make sure I put the link in the chat for us later. Campaigns. Campaigns are very, very simple, which is funny because they say they want you to run a campaign, but there is no, I would say, I really don't think there's any stipulations. Elena or Thelma, you can help me with this. Is there any particular criteria to the campaign that they must run?
I do not believe so, Chuck.
And the only reason I'm saying this is for the newer agents who are, maybe they're new and I don't have any listings. I'm just getting people into command. Understanding that, of course, you have to be with the Advantage Group for a year for the 80/20 to apply. However, one thing that's kind of interesting is the campaigns don't specify that it has to be a paid ad. Paid ads are one type of campaign. An email marketing campaign, if you send out emails, that's a campaign. You can create emails and send them out through your command mail and meet the criteria of having a campaign. So for the agents that are with COVID, everyone's had a rough time. We all understand it's been a rough spell. So if this is a campaign, the same holds true with social posts. Social posts are campaigns, but you have to have more than one. You need to show that you're doing this on a regular basis. Direct mail, if you want to send out postcards, is also a campaign. If you sent out postcards after your last home that you had sold through command, that's a campaign. The two easiest, the easiest to do are social posts, although I wouldn't want to push it with that necessarily, but the emails, an email campaign, and paid ads. You can create an ad to put in Facebook and let it run and only spend $5. You let it run for 5 days, and just spend $5. You do not need to spend $150, $200 per campaign. I want you to understand we need to see, one, that you're making the concerted effort to use the tools that are provided to us. Will there be hiccups every once in a while? You betcha. Have to understand Kelly's still young, and Kelly is the artificial intelligence behind the platform. So every once in a while there is a hiccup. Every once in a while there's something that's not working. Understand that is the norm. It's 2020. We have to expect the abnormal for the norm for now. However, creating a campaign is very simple. Since I am in a demo account and not in my personal account, it may not work as well because it's going to require an account to be there. And what I'll do is maybe we'll go back to campaigns through my personal account in just a few minutes, just to give you an idea of how to do that. This is where Elena and Thelma are the masters. Are you with me, Elena, still?
Yes.
Which I'm deferring. I love the fact that you do so. I love your designs.
Oh, I love the designs component in command.
I like the fact that we can make it do whatever we want it to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what I'm going to do, just because this way I can go to designs and then back to the campaign. So give me a second. I'm going to switch from the demo account to one of my 600 other accounts. So I'm going to go to designs. And for those who no, it seems like I have a problem there, don't I? Every morning for 20, if you want to say in a 20-day cycle, 5 cities, 4 weeks, Monday through Friday, I do a video, recorded video of the market stats for that particular city. And then in conjunction with my video, I'm also sharing through the social media the stats of that city through designs. So I try not to overcomplicate them. What do you think, Zinli? You can make them pretty without making them gaudy, I guess you can say. I don't want to make them too busy.
Mhm.
And everything that, like, for example, I like this one simply because as a dad of 2 daughters, I remember getting my girls ice cream all the time. But with this particular design, with the exception of the photo in the background of my wife and myself, and this logo, which is our team logo with the Keller Williams Advantage logo conjoined, everything else in here comes from Command. Everything. You can change anything that they give you. Let's go, let me show you a template just to give you just a rough idea. Move that number, there it is. Okay. So let's just say we're going to, I like to go to the templates. I go to the pivot, shift ahead, and normally go to Instagram. Let's just say we're going to, we'll change any of them. It doesn't matter. So let's just say we're going to do the market activity in the last 24 hours. And let's just say, for example, these are the numbers for whatever area we're doing. So for me, my first thing I do is because of the fact that I don't like all that white background. It just doesn't look as enticing. So I generally take in my library under images, and where it has this, use that as the background. Once it goes sharp, I click in the background, go to opacity, make it opaque, and go to about 42. See how it dims it down? It's still back there, kind of as a background, as it should be. Now, anytime I'm going to change from white, this needs to be bold. The same holds true for down here. I feel that both of these, so that they stand out a little bit better, are bold. And today's date, I want this also bold. And then when you click any text box and you click on typewriter, it comes up where you can change the text inside that box. So of course, my source for whatever the numbers will be is Stellar MLS. I have a tendency to leave the date in the double digits, and I just save the changes. And as you can see, it changes it so it now says updated today, and the information taken from Stellar. So the next thing I want to do is I take this right here, the DBA that they give us by default, and I delete it. I simply hit the delete key on my keyboard. I have mine right here, but I don't want to use this as a background. I want to add this image. So I'll click use this image. I'm going to resize it and drag it into place where I want it. Then often I may go in to the text fields and to my library, because this is information all coming from your marketing profile. So I want the phone number, which I'll drag here, we'll just say. I want our email address in bold, and I want it all in one line, so that's why I'm dragging this one right there. And then often I will also add one of our taglines. We are here for you. Or I'll put our website. So it depends on what I want to put. The less room I have here, the less I want. I don't want it too busy. Now I want to change this picture here of the yellow door, which is a nice pretty picture, but it doesn't apply to whatever city I'm putting in. If you go to company, if you want to, you can add photos. If you have something on your computer that you want to add, a picture that you took of a lake, or whatever the case may be, it's anything that gets their attention. You can have it on your computer and drop and drag it right there, bring it in. The same holds true if it's something on Facebook or a Facebook page, or if you have it somewhere online, you have access to it. You can also use the company. They have lifestyle at home, so maybe you want to this one, and maybe the middle image. If you do this, it's going to add the image. It's not going to replace. This one is the one that makes it the whole background. This one, where it says replace image, is referring to the image that we currently have highlighted with the bubbles. So if I switch this, it sizes it for me. I don't have to do anything. And then you can go through and change all you want to do with all of this. Every once in a while, I'll tone down this, make this maybe a little, about 650 or so. But you can change all this information, and you can make it, and you simply went from that basic white template that they gave you to something with color and something that will grab their eyes. And it's pure as that. If you need to add text, add text. They're going to ask you, what type of text do you need to add? Do you need to add a frame? Do you need to add shapes? Do you need to draw? You have all this to your control. I would make sure that you add it. Make sure you name it. I'm just going to say test, whoops, October 5. I always take off the very end part. Even though it's automatically saves it, I go over here and click save anyway. If I wanted to share this on social media, I will not use this share button. It currently does not work. It has a tendency to share what looks like a link and not the actual photograph that you want to share. So what I do is I will download the JPEG, puts it to high quality. When I download it, and then I'm able to put it into Instagram, I'm able to put it into LinkedIn, I'm able to put it into Twitter, I'm able to do whatever it is I need to do, and it's got the high quality. That's your designs. I mean, play with designs. Designs is one of those toys that they give you, and they almost want you to try to break. They want you to figure out how to do it. There is so much that's done in designs that it's unbelievable. You can make videos. There's where you make agent sites. You can make your print media, your social media, landing pages, which actually they're listed here, but I make the landing pages in consumer. And then you can create email. Oh, I should say which am I logged in as? But you can create emails and have email templates there. This is all done in designs. So it makes it so that you can make it so that nothing's ever the same twice. And that's the beauty of Command, is they're giving us the ability to do this. If you've used Canva in the past, you're already familiar with how designs work. And any questions before I go back to campaigns? Going once?
Nope.
I was wondering, I was like, I'm at 283 designs now. So that would be since, yeah, that's about right. Next, whoops, I just went back. Campaigns. Paid ads. I haven't even looked to see. Wow. Funniest thing about Google is the leads don't appear in Command, but they do appear in Google. So I go to my Google format to get them. I do run Google ads. I run Facebook, And I do run, where's my Instagram? I don't know. Yeah, here's Instagram. I personally do not run Twitter ads. And that's all I'm going to say. I just don't personally run Twitter ads. To create a new campaign is very simple. Make it a social. Yes, I know I use test for a lot, but it reminds me what it was for. Understand right here, if you're going to advertise multiple listings, that's great for visual, but not great for the leads. You really, you want to get something to capture them and then have them move on. If you give them too many things to look at, they move on before they ever click anything. However, whichever of these selections you select determines the algorithm used by Facebook, and in some point when you're making a Google ad by Google, as to who is going to see the ad. It's a slight difference, but they know what they're doing. They know who. If you're looking to attract buyers, you may get almost the same crowd as attracting listings, but this is going to be heavier on those who have been looking to buy a home. You can select Facebook. You can select Instagram. I will not select Twitter, only because I disconnected my Twitter account. I'll go, let's say, I don't know, other. You're going to work on the left-hand side, and your previews are going to come up on the right. So let's just add a listing. I'm not doing lot 85 again. I like this one. Recommendation, word of caution, and as someone who runs ads with permission for homes listed by other agents, send an email asking for explicit permission to run a Facebook ad to find buyers. And let them know which ad. In other words, spell out, I'd like to run a Facebook ad for 1633 Macefield Lane with the intent to procure buyers. Do I have your permission? You want it in writing. You do not want this to become a he said, she said. But once you've done that and you've selected the listing, like in this case here, if you want to use the wording that's coming from the MLS. If you're happy with that, there you go. You can leave it, change it as you like. You have a 250 character limit in the main copy. This area above the picture here, above the photograph, is your main copy. So if you like that, and that's what you want to go with, you don't have to change it. But let's just say we want to, let's just say we know it's a 3-bed, 2-bath home or something. They want to see this, they can look at it. Within walking distance, is that allowed? Anyone?
No,
Why?
because of fair housing.
It's subjective.
Subject.
It's subjective. What you call walking distance may not be what the person who sees the ad calls walking distance. So that's why we can't put them in there. So we would want to remove that in this ad. Which is funny, you can change it from walking to short distance, who knows? But we're just going to go with this main copy for now. Make sure when you're doing your ads or when you're doing your ad copy, it's easier to, especially for your own listings, to come up with your own ad copy. Make it something that jumps out. You could be coming home to this. That'll be our headline. And then they say, you know, they give you the description. Make a description about the link. Click. Whoop. I always put the learn more, even though it's funny here, it's not in caps here. When it goes to Facebook, it actually is in caps. However, I want them, I'm emphasizing it's a button without putting it in bold and everything else. So this way, I'm not putting it in parentheses. I'm not putting it in quotations. I'm not doing anything other than say, click learn more. Beautiful. I mean, you can put as much and as little as you want. And click Save Add Text. So right now you've done step 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you have to get to the channel options and you have to configure. It's going to say this is the account and it says which of your business pages do you want to use. I'm going to use the one for our business. This is up to you which you want to do, the Instagram ad or the Instagram story. Whichever one you want to use. I usually use the Instagram ad. Seems to get better results. I use the Facebook lead generation form. This means when they click learn more in Facebook, pop-up window. Is this your name? Is this your email address? Is this your phone number? All they have to do is click yes to confirm. Because if they have to fill that in right away, they're moving on to somewhere else. The less clicks, the better. So I'll leave that as a learn more. Then they say, what's your follow-up? Your follow-up URL. I think it's. Oh yeah, I gotta. I know you're gonna say that. For some reason, this particular module, if you don't put your kw.kw.com, it's saying there's something wrong with that site. So I'll make sure I put it in there. But what I'm doing is I'm sending them to our team, my agent site for the team, to the contact us page to get their information. Or I'll build a landing page for this particular home on this address. So what I'll do is I'll go to my agent site, and let's just see. Oh, I don't want that. So I'm going to go to my agent site. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to look up that address. And thank God for our agent site, because if it weren't for our agent site, we wouldn't be able to look for it. Is it this one? Is it already off the market? Yeah, figures. You know what? Let me just pull up something. Let me do this. No results found. What a property type, what a home. There you go. Bingo. I'm just picking anything. Get to the address of the home so that you see the site here. Do you know this is only for this particular property? There's nothing else on this particular landing page but this particular address. Take this URL right here and you could put it right there. But make sure if you try to copy and paste the URL, if you try to take that off, it has a tendency to want to add the https:// again. Make sure it doesn't do it. So when someone clicks on the learn more, they get the box that comes up, says this is my email, this is my phone, this is my name, and they click yes, they're going to be taken to this particular page because this is what I told it to do right here. What I originally had on my was this right here, which was contact us. But if I was advertising this particular, if this is what this ad was for, I'd want that home to be, so you know what, look, ooh, more pictures, this, that, and the other. Ask your agent, it's still going to go to you. Schedule a video tour, it's still going to go to you. They're looking, oh, this sounds great. They click anything, you're going to get notified. Oh, let's talk. It's going to go to your command. That's the beauty. It goes to your command. So if you're not comfortable with building landing pages, individual landing page or single property sites, go to your website, look up the address. Once you get to this part here where it tells you where the with the property itself, use this as your landing page. Work smart, not hard. Ad targeting. Yes, go ahead.
So what's the alternative of not doing the way you just told us? You said a landing page, and how will we create that?
If I was going to create a landing page,
Yes.
sure, give me a second. Let's see. Right click, see if I can get it to open a new tab. So if I wanted to create a landing page, I could go create it. This is in consumer.
Okay.
And I create a new site, and it's going to be a standalone page. I just want it, it's a landing page. So I come here and I have to build this all from scratch.
Oh.
Which is not a problem. I can go that right there. Then I can say, okay, I want this here. Then when I scroll down, I always scroll down just as a habit. Maybe I want to put, let's see, I'll put my lead form down here, and then my legal footer at the bottom. So everything's down there.
Oh, okay, so it's not that complicated, but
it's not that complicated, because now I have to go over here and configure the widgets. So I have to come up here, I have to put a header, I have to say address, save and apply. It's going to put address over here. See, when I do go to the next widget, now it's going to ask me to look for that listing. I wish I remember what that listing was.
The 6600, I believe. No.
Yeah, let's go with this one. 6065, wasn't it? Yeah. Lake Avenue. I don't look like the same one.
On the right. On the right.
I'm looking. It looks like they both look like the same. How long has this been on the market? It's time for me to step in. Let's see if it is. Click Save and Apply. If you want to change the picture, because I know these are almost, you can add a custom image, or if you want to use something from said address or from the MLS, click there and then click Save and Apply, and it just changes the picture. Oh, I know where this is. Okay. That's all they want for that? So once I've done all that saving and applying, I need to go to my next widget. Am I okay with that? Do I want to say, does this look like something, if you're interested, whatever, you can change this. Don't go overboard with a description. Click Save and Apply. Then I say Publish Page. You're like, oh, do you want to make this a landing page? Sure. Now, the next thing that I do is I come right over here and I change the URL. When people are looking at the URL, remember when you hover, if you hover over something, you're going, where does this go to? If I hover over Google, it tells me where it's going to. I hover over this. This looks like a fishing expedition by someone trying to get my credit card. You can, at the very end, I can take it all out. My custom URL, street address. That's it. That looks like a landing page for a property. And guess what? It's active. I just created a landing page. Tell us about the property. I didn't have to add any of this information. This is all coming from the feed. Gives it the map, and then interested, let's talk. So if I wanted to build a landing page for that, as opposed to what we did over there when we actually looked up the property,
Mhm.
it's the same result. This took a little bit longer. This didn't.
I see.
That's the
Interesting.
only difference. The best thing is when you build your own landing page, you could add video. You can't do that to your site, you know, for the particular property.
Mm.
So you have the ability, when you create a new site and go standalone page, if you haven't done it yet, just try it, play with it. You'll see all the neat little toys you have available to you.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Got it?
Yep.
Anybody else? Like I said, this is what they have. And one thing they have that I don't have on my landing page is maybe like the Keller Mortgage, Keller Covered, you know, a couple things here that are built into our sites, as opposed to I've got basically about the information and nothing else. This is a basic landing page. This is a little more complex landing page, but both are landing pages. And, excuse me, when it asks me where do I want them to go, I'll tell them one or the other, I don't care. Back to ad targeting. I'm on both sides of the fence. It's ironic. I'm on both sides of the fence with respect to ad targeting. I don't want agents wasting their time always going back and forth and trying to figure out what settings to use. So this one says Austin, Texas. Is this where it was? I thought it was North Carolina. So let's just say we're going to put, there you go. There's the city. Normally it would come up by what you're, where you're at. 20 miles of the city, or 25 if I want, or, you know, whatever the case may be. If you want to add interests, such as, do they look at Zillow? Additional interest. Look at the audience size, potential audience size of 30, just over 34 million. I check that. I do not want this. You know why? This is agents. What about realtor.com? Oh, it's like that. What about mortgages? Buyer's probably going to be looking for mortgage loan or mortgage broker or mortgage calculator. So I've got 5 things selected right now, and I'm just going to save those 5. You can go in and remove any of them at any time, and you can go back and add more if you want. If you want to say Trulia, and add that in there and save that. But this is kind of goes through and tries to target your audience a little bit better by their interest. If you say, yep, that's what I like, the next thing you have to select is your duration and budget. If I only want this to run for, let's see, 5 days, and I wanted it $5. See, they recommend 10-day campaign, budget of $1 per day per channel. That's right, I'm doing 2 channels, that's why. So for 5 days, and the reason it's $10 is 5 of it goes to Instagram and 5 goes to Facebook, which means 10 goes to Facebook.
When starting out, would you which one would you recommend between Facebook and Instagram? Or would you say both of them give you same results and should do both?
Are you on Instagram a lot?
Um,
Okay, so that means Facebook.
I
When you
mean,
start,
no, actually, social media has been my like Achilles heel. I just really never paid attention to it until now.
right,
And so then I'm trying to
I would
build.
start, yeah, start with Facebook.
Okay.
Start with Facebook. Again, and Elena or Thumb, if they want to, can speak in. Normally, I will put in emoticons, like I'll put a picture of the bed, picture of the house. Just like, for example, when I come over here and it says 3 bed, I put a little emoji in, and I normally have a picture of a bed. Then, something like picture of a bath, which, there it is. At the end of I generally have, where's he at? Where are you at? Pointing down. The reason I do at least a couple of them is see how they're all pointing down. Believe it or not,
That works.
it works. It catches their attention.
Interesting.
It catches their attention, and that's the whole thing. Once you catch their attention, they're likely going to make this. Don't go with always with what they put in the from the MLS. I simply took what they had for time purposes. But you can create a campaign just like that. So far, we know that we know how to do the 100 contacts. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
We went through, we created a smart plan. We did an opportunity. We've done a campaign, and we created a design. That's it. That's all you needed for the 80/20.
Great.
So it's more of getting, for lack of a better term, it's getting into the areas and fields that maybe you're not as comfortable with, such as playing with the designs or playing with like I just did there with the landing page. You can make this work for you, and there's no reason why any of you can't make this work for you. The system was made to work for you. The system was made to make your life easier. The system was made to help you lead gen.
Can you one more time repeat the categories that would be needed to?
So it's 100 contacts in your data bank. It's at least one opportunity,
Okay.
one campaign, one design, one created smart plan. And you want to be using the smart plan. Don't just create it and have it sitting there. It needs to be in use. Even if you take like the one we were looking at earlier and change it so it's Anthony's and not the other guy, the other gentleman's.
Gotcha.
Put a couple contacts on there. You're now, because that's the best thing. Take something that they created, change it around. You modified it. It's now yours. Put a couple contacts on there. You've met the criteria.
Now, this criteria needs to be accomplished by what date or like?
Needs to be accomplished by when you get it done. You're not eligible for the 80/20 program until after your first year with the Advantage Group and all the criteria have been met. So there's no deadline. This is not, well, we got to have it by, this coming Friday on the 9th, or you can't do it. If you don't finish it till the 12th or the 13th, that's when they say you're eligible. Think of it as a floating deadline.
Okay. But none of it will really matter until I be 1 year with the company. Anyway,
1 year
right?
with the company, think of it this way. You get all this done now, okay?
That's definitely the goal.
Or I'm saying, but you get this all done now, and then when your anniversary date comes around, you're not going to have to worry about whether or not you qualify. You know you are. And that's what we want for all the agents. We want all agents to see the system was built for us. Use it.
That's true.
I mean, if there's certain things that it doesn't do the way you like and you're going to use some other method, by all means, do what makes your business money. However, to qualify for this particular generous program that our owner has given us, these are very simple criteria. This is nothing complex. This is not jumping through hoops. This could not be any clearer for any of us. And that's why I asked Elena, she agreed. This is as clear as it can be.
That is true.
I mean, you know, there's no hidden agenda or anything of that nature. So any other questions before we end our session? Anyone? Bueller? Well, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your Monday afternoon to be with me. Made my life richer. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me at charles@deborahmorsehometeam.com. And I'll put it in the chat here real quick. Also, if you have any need to set up a session with me for the Tech Mentor, please make sure to go ahead and use my Calendly link. I know that it was sent out before, however, may need a correction. All you need to do is go to calendly.com/ChuckMorseStatsTech. You will see the different sessions that are available. When you click on the session, it will tell you when it's available. It works off the Google Calendar, so if someone's already booked it or I have something already booked for that time frame, then you will not be able to schedule during that time. And with that, I'm going to stop the recording.